Young explorer recorded Titanoboa in Amazon forests, but what happened later was shocking. Caleb Green was 27 years old. He had just started a new chapter in his life. Ever since he was a kid, he had been interested in snakes. He watched documentaries, read books, and searched for videos online. His favorite was always the Titanoboa, the largest snake to ever live. It was said to be more than 40 feet long and as thick as an oil drum. Most people said it was extinct, but Caleb believed it might still be out there, maybe hiding, maybe waiting. After graduating from college, Caleb didn't have money to travel or explore, so he got a job at McDonald's. He worked full-time and saved every dollar he could. He didn't spend money on parties, clothes, or new phones. All he wanted was enough to go on one big adventure, into the Amazon rainforest. After 5 years, he finally had enough money. He bought a plane ticket to Brazil, packed a bag with clothes, tools, a small tent, a camera, and dried food. He also carried books about snakes and maps of the Amazon region. When Caleb landed in Brazil, it was hot and crowded. He walked out of the airport and looked for a taxi. An older man with a yellow car waved at him. "You need ride?" the man asked. "Yes," Caleb said, "to a hotel near the forest." They started driving. The car was old, and the roads were busy. Caleb smiled and tried to make small talk. "I've always wanted to come here," he said. "Amazon is full of wild animals. I'm most excited about snakes, big ones." The driver's smile faded. His hands gripped the steering wheel tighter. Caleb noticed. "What's wrong?" he asked. The driver looked ahead. He didn't answer at first. Then he spoke softly. "Bad soul is awake," he said. "People go into forest. They don't come back." "What do you mean?" Caleb asked. "There is talk," the driver said, "of a giant snake, a monster. It is not normal. People disappear, animals too, and those who speak of it bring bad luck." He went quiet again. Caleb tried to ask more questions, but the driver didn't answer. The rest of the ride was silent. They reached the hotel near the forest. Caleb thanked the driver and went inside, but he couldn't stop thinking about what the man had said. Giant snake, bad soul, disappearing people. That night, he barely slept. The next morning, Caleb woke up early. The sun was just rising. He packed his bag with food, water, a flashlight, ropes, a small shovel, and notebooks. But something felt wrong. His mind kept going back to the taxi driver's words. He walked to a small shop in the town. The owner sold tools, camping gear, and weapons. Caleb asked if he could buy a gun. "You going into the forest alone?" the shop owner asked. "Yes." The man gave him a serious look. "Be careful," he said. "There are things in there that don't like to be found." Caleb bought a small handgun and extra bullets. He didn't really believe he would need it, but it made him feel safer. He started walking into the Amazon. The forest was thick. Trees stood tall and vines hung like ropes. Birds sang in the distance. Insects buzzed. The air was hot and wet. Every step was slow. He used a machete to cut through branches. He walked for 10 hours. All day he looked for signs, snake tracks, shed skin, strange movement. But he saw nothing unusual, just bugs, frogs, and some monkeys far away. He was tired and disappointed. As the sun began to set, Caleb found a clear area and set up his tent. He made a small fire and ate some dry bread and fruit. The forest was quiet now, too quiet. He went to sleep around 10 p.m., hoping to wake early and explore more the next day. But around 4 a.m., something woke him up. A strange hissing sound. He opened his eyes and sat up quickly. He heard more hissing. Then he looked outside the tent. Snakes. Dozens of small snakes were slithering near his tent. Some crawled over his bag. Others moved in a slow circle around the fire pit. Caleb's heart started to race. Snakes don't usually travel in groups. They are solitary animals, but these were acting like a pack. He grabbed a stick and stirred the fire to make it brighter. Then he threw dry leaves and small pieces of wood into it to grow the flames. The snakes didn't like that. Slowly, they started to move away. Caleb didn't sleep again. He sat with his back against a tree, holding his flashlight and listening to the jungle. Every sound made him flinch. By sunrise, the snakes were gone, but he couldn't forget the way they moved together, like they were running from something or following something bigger. He packed up and kept walking, but his mind was full of thoughts. Maybe the taxi driver had a reason to be scared. Maybe there was something wrong in the forest. Around noon, Caleb was walking while reading his map. He didn't see the ground ahead. He stepped forward and fell. The ground gave way. It was a deep hole covered by leaves and mud. He screamed and grabbed his rope. His tools hit the sides, slowing his fall. He dropped almost 20 meters before landing hard on his back. It took him a minute to stand up. He checked his arms and legs. No bones broken, just bruises. He looked up. The hole was too high. No vines, no roots, no way back. But ahead of him was a narrow tunnel. Caleb took out his flashlight and followed the tunnel. It was cold and damp. The air smelled like old rock and dust. He walked for a long time. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe more. He lost track of time. Then the tunnel opened up. He stepped into a massive underground cave. His jaw dropped. The cave was carved out like a giant bowl. The ceiling was high, and the walls had strange marks, lines and circles that looked like old symbols. But what caught his eye was in the center of the cave. A giant snake. It was sleeping, coiled like a mountain of thick muscle. Its body was covered in dark green and brown scales. It looked like stone, but it was breathing, slowly, heavily. Beside the snake were large, leathery eggs, at least 4 of them. Caleb froze. Titanoboa. It was real, alive, and here. He took a small step back, trying not to make a sound, but his foot hit a loose rock. The sound echoed. The snake opened one eye. Caleb stood still. His heart stopped. The snake lifted its head slightly. It looked straight at him. He didn't move. The snake stared for a long moment, then slowly lowered its head and went back to sleep. Caleb backed away into the tunnel. He didn't run. He didn't breathe loudly. He just walked backward until the snake was out of sight. Then he turned around and ran. He didn't stop until he reached the place where he had fallen. He looked up again. Still no way out. But now he had a reason to try harder. He tied his rope to a rock and tried climbing. He slipped once, then again. On the 3rd try, he made it halfway. Then the rope tore. But he grabbed onto a thick root sticking from the side of the hole. With all his strength, he pulled himself up and out of the ground. He lay on the forest floor, gasping. Then he got up and started walking back the way he had come. He marked trees with chalk as he went. He didn't stop to eat, didn't stop to drink. All he wanted was to reach the hotel, reach the town, and tell someone what he had seen. 3 days later, Caleb reached the edge of the forest. He was dirty, tired, and thinner. His clothes were torn. His hands were scratched. But he made it. He found a phone and called the local police. He told them what he had seen. They didn't believe him at first. But when he showed them the markings on the map, his notes, and a photo he had taken in the cave, they listened. A team was sent into the forest, but they never found the hole. The cave entrance was gone, covered by new mud, trees, and fallen earth like it had never been there at all. Caleb returned to his home country. He tried to write about his story. Some people believed him, others laughed, but he didn't care. He knew what he saw. The Titanoboa was not extinct. It was just waiting, sleeping, deep under the Amazon. And someday it might wake up again,